damage, or set up for a stun, or set up for a kill or something. But I don't absolutely hate the first one, because at the very least, it starts getting your mana regen going. Because if it's like, if at this point you haven't casted a stun, you kind of have wasted a stun. Right. Because you'd be full mana and... Yeah. And like right now would be a really good opportunity for you to get your boots and your wand if you had them in your quick buy. Now you come over here, you get them, you don't actually miss any. I think you missed one. This is just, you should be prioritizing creeps over, buying items anyways. So this isn't even like a quick buy or anything, it's just, you leave the lane when there's 2 creeps in deny range, and you miss 1 creep because of it. So it's, which is weird because it wasn't in deny range, so it would be hard to predict, but still. They could have just walked up and got 2 denies there, and you missed the range creep, so you would have missed possibly 3 last hits for going to go get your boots and your wand. Feels bad. You could have killed them there.
Oh.
You had enough mana for your stick. Or, you had enough mana for your stun with your stick. And yeah, like that, if you didn't throw out those 2 careless, or 2 kind of pointless stuns, at the start of the game, you wouldn't have even needed to do that. And now you buy a clarity because of the stuns you've been throwing out. But, like, I would have rather seen you get, like, a quelling blade back in base than this clarity. Because you're not running into a lot of opportunities to throw out good stuns, so it's kind of like the mana is useless. Or, it's just not as impactful as you want it to be. Plus, there's no way you're going to stop them from just breaking your clarity. So, if you ever use this clarity, for you to get any value of it, you're going to have to, like, leave the lane. Plus, you don't have... I would have much rather seen you also get more tangos or a salve. Because you can't sustain this lane. And you getting mana is kind of like, alright, well, I'm going to kill them when you don't have the opportunity to kill them. Instead of getting health regen, which would mean I'm going to survive and get more last hits.
Yeah, I'm not sure why I didn't buy a salve, honestly.
Yeah, and the other thing is I don't like that you skilled this up. Because it's just kind of like, you don't really want to be fighting as Wraith King for a long time. Like your level 1 ult, its cooldown is like forever. They buffed it and it's still like, what is that, 3 minutes and 20 seconds? So you don't really want to be fighting with your level 1 ult. You kind of just want to skill these up and then farm more. And then like by the time that you're fighting, it doesn't matter how much damage this is doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And at this point, the lane's over, so the best thing for you to do is just go jungle. Like, get a quelling blade, get a salve or tangos, and go jungle some. Which wouldn't be that bad if you had this, because you have like a 9% chance to just kill a creep. So the rest of the lane's just gonna be kind of like, you shouldn't even be here.
I mean, like, they're pushing the lane so much, so I just felt bad leaving. Because, yeah, they're pressuring a lot, but there's still a lot of farm and XP that I can get. Because they're not really diving under the tower.
Yeah, but you're dying over and over and you don't have any regen. Like, if they were playing this correctly, you wouldn't be able to like even be standing right here because of the lead that they have. If Bounty Hunter and Ricky come down here, and the lane's like up here, you can't stand here because they'll just kill you. Or at the very least, they'll harass you so much that when you run to the tower, you'll be so low that if you go up again, they'll kill you. So it's just kind of like you have no way of staying in the lane anymore if the enemy decides to not let you stay in the lane. So it's kind of like you have pretty decent jungling on this guy, especially if you're like leveling these instead of a second point in this. So you can get reliably about the same or more out of the jungle, and your Nyx can stay here and sap up the rest. So instead of having two people getting a shit amount, you have one person getting a little bit better than shit, and then another getting a little bit better than shit, because he's getting the full experience from the lane instead of both of you splitting it. And all he really cares about is his experience. So that's just kind of like recognizing when the lane's so bad that you don't want to be there anymore, and recognizing that you're a hero that can jungle early. Like, if you're a Spectre right now, you'd just be fucked. But you have lifesteal built in, you have a insta-kill on neutrals. Like a... You have the second lowest GPM in the game right now. Because you're trying to get more out of this lane. Whereas if you're jungling, you'd probably be at 250, 300. This guy would be at 200. And then you'd both be getting more experience. Does that all make sense? Do you have any?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, how do I like recognize that, I guess, in other situations? Like, how do you know when it's time to leave the lane and go jungle?
It's it's kind of a lot of factors. It depends a lot on like the heroes and everything. But to try and like sum it up the best here is you're dying and coming back to a lane, and you don't have any clear things that'll make you strong enough to stay in the lane. Let's say you're in the same exact situation, but you're like a AM or some shit, where you can get a ring of health, and that 5 health regen per second is it's a like a benchmark, I guess, or I can't think of the right word, but it's basically when you hit it, then something new happens, or like if you're Slark and you get level 6, then you don't care either. But as Wraith King, like, you might get like, if you get another point in your aura, it'll give you like a third more health per hit. But that's not like enough. And if you get your ult, yeah, you can like die once every 3.33 minutes and not die, but like then they'll just kill you again. So it's just kind of like you don't have any way of coming back. And you've already seen that they're running you over. Does that all make sense?
Yeah. I have a question though. Like, what if I sent Nyx to a different lane? Do you think they would have reduced the pressure here?
That's a strategy for him, for sure. Like, if I'm a position 4 or whatever, and I know that I'm not doing anything for my Wraith King, I'll be like, yeah, I can go somewhere else and maybe alleviate the pressure. Or at least, like, it's just strictly better for the Nyx to have left the lane, because he wasn't really helping you at all.
That's what I was thinking. He really wasn't doing much other than, like, aggroing the creeps and just, like, fucking up the equilibrium.
Yeah. So, yeah, it would have been a good move for him to leave, but, unless you're, like, in a party with him.
No.
Yeah. And now him coming back's just gonna attract the Ricky to come down here. And now the Bounty Hunter's also down here. but that's you can't really control other players. So I would have definitely picked up a Quelling Blade. Like I would have picked it up a while ago. Like I would have picked it up before your treads, any part of your treads, and just went and jungled. But like Wraith King is.
We do always get a Quelling Blade on most melee heroes. I don't remember my reasoning for not getting on this skill.
Yeah, it's so good. Even if you pick it up at like 10 minutes and you're a hero that wants to jungle a bit, like let's say you're a Sven or some shit. Like even if you get it at 10 minutes and you just go jungle for 5 minutes, it'll pay for itself more than enough.
I think they tried to kill me here.
Well, at this point, it's kind of you should be TPing out here. Or you can just fucking kill all of them.
I almost killed the bounty too. The skeletons, man, they're so good.
Oh, I didn't even see you had those. I forgot that was even a fucking thing. Yeah, so right here you should be... Okay, you're queuing it up.
Fucking... At this point, like, after that, maybe it was worth to go Midas. Especially because I was kind of behind. But Midas you don't go when you're behind, right? It's more of a...
It's a very... like, it's hard for me to even understand exactly when to go it. Completely. So, to put it into words is very hard. It's kind of like... There's so many pieces that go into it, that it's hard to explain, and, like, some pieces are more important than others by, like, so much. This game, you guys have a techie, so the game's gonna go late, and you guys have an Omni Knight, so if you can get repelled later game, it's good, and you're a Wraith King, so going later's pretty good. But then also they have 3 cores, and Ricky's also kind of a core, and then the bounty's gonna get him fat, so it's kind of like, if it goes late game, it's kind of bad anyways, but it depends on where they are and where you are and all these different things, so it's very hard to like give you a guideline for when to go Midas and when not to go it. But it's kind of like, usually when I think about going it, it's still wrong 90% of the time. And it's like, I could get something else that allows me to fight and farm about just as good as a Midas will. And then there's also, part of Midas is that it's very space conservative, in that, let's say you have a Tinker and an AM and a Medusa and all that, you're going to run out of things to farm. And Midas allows you to get more farm out of the same space. So, but that's not really a concern here unless the enemy runs you over. And then, like, Midas is good if, let's say they can push all of your tier 2s, but there's no way that they can high ground you, then it's, like, getting better. So there's so many different bits and pieces that go into it, when to go Midas, that it's just very hard to explain fully. And it's like, when it's right, it's only a little bit better, but when it's wrong, you lose the game because of it.
Right. So it's just better not to get it ever?
I think right now it's pretty safe to just never pick it up. Because it's like in a weird state right now where it's like not that great for experience. And then like you can just farm quicker with other items, so it's kind of like also weird for that. But then there's heroes that are like decent with it, like OD and Slark get like more bonus from the attack speed. So it's got a lot of little different parts to it. Um, so yeah, they definitely threw. Like, the game should have been over off the laning phase. And I was gonna, like, almost just stop watching because the game seemed over.
Okay, what do you think about me going Radiance this game? Because my logic was that because they have these invis heroes that keep following me around, they're all melee. They did have a lot of impact.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that for like a minute or so.
Then I'm thinking, was the armlet really worth it? Maybe I should have just rushed Radiance.
I think armlet is worth it because, like, since you've got an armlet, you haven't died. Whereas if you rushed Radiance, you would have had it by now, but you would have been squishy as fuck until you got it, and then even while you had it. Like, when Alchemist was in the meta, he even got armlet before Radiance, because it was just kind of like, you get it for free, because you're gonna die if you just rush Radiance. And this is a bunch of, you're just like running around not doing anything.
Well, because I was looking like where I can push. Do something. I saw Nyx was bottom, so I didn't want to go there, and then I think Omni was keeping top, so
yeah, you should just be jungling here, which is what you start to do. And then, like, this looks like a bad fight, in a few seconds here. So I'd start to, it's about right here, that you know it's 4 of them and it's 2 of these guys. And you're a Wraith King that's just gonna, like, run up and try and stun them when they have 2 invises and a hero that blinks. So it's kind of like the chances of you doing anything are completely revolved around your team, or their team messing up. So I wouldn't even be showing up to this fight based off of that. And then I would have been farming this, and then going for the bounty, and then farming these 2 again. And then looking at the creep waves the whole time. Like, mostly looking top. Because where you're farming is kind of like a little bit extra dangerous, and it's not as efficient. Because you're not sitting next to Techie's mines. And it's like, the main thing I think for you is, you see a fight, but you don't see how far away you are from it when you decide to go or not. Like, you have to realize you're a good 6-7 seconds away from it, in most of these scenarios. And that's just kind of like, even if it's good when you're looking at it, there's so many things that can happen in the next 7 seconds that make it completely a waste of time to even run there. This one ends up being fine, but that's kind of like what happened with the fight up here. The one thing to be very mindful of against these teams is look at their lineup and then tell me how likely it is for them to cancel your TP.
Not very, I guess. All there's is Legion and Bounty for sure.
Yeah. So if you just watch out for the Shuriken, mostly, you can TP out. Like, the LC is probably not going to get her duel off of you. If you're, like, TPing out after you reincarnate or whatever. And she doesn't seem to be dueling you at all. She's dueling everyone else. And one thing that I want to point out is, when you're going into a fight, you almost always want your treads on strength. With, like, anyone. Especially because you're a strength hero. It's just, the 200 health is so much better than, like, even if you were an agility hero, the strength would make you do more damage, because Like at this point, it would give you like 12% more health. Whereas if you were an agility hero, the agi treads would give you like 4 or 5% more damage. So just living for the extra 12% will make you do more damage.
I just thought I'd attack faster.
Yeah, it's...
A lot of the time.
Well, it's just... That's one of the things that goes through my mind whenever I start a fight as somebody with treads. 90% of heroes always want to be on strength when you start a fight, unless you're like extremely proficient with tread switching, which is still min-maxing and you're only going to get a little bit out of it. Feels bad he has defusal now.
I should have wanted.
Well, you probably didn't even...
I didn't realize he had to do it.
Yeah.
That's probably a mistake too, to follow the Legion.
Yeah.
It's just, I feel like I'm bad at playing these carries that don't have any kind of escape or something. You know, because when something goes wrong, I feel like I'm just stuck there. Whereas with something like an AM or a co-op, I can just do.
Yeah. I mean, there's not too much to say about it. It's just kind of like, you know what the problem is, and the solution is just playing around, not having a blink.
I think that was a mistake this game. Should I have gone with blink?
Blink's pretty good on Wraith King because you can always blink out of your ult, and they don't really have any consistent AoE that will stop you from doing it. Plus, you guys don't, aside from the Nyx, you guys don't have lockdown for you to catch up, so it wouldn't have been bad. Like, I wouldn't mind you going it right now, actually. But I do think that Armlet was good because it gave you a lot of power. It basically made you, after getting those 3 kills and getting your Armlet, you were basically caught up. But if you had Blink Dagger, you'd still be weak. And you'd be able to, like, blink stun people, but you'd be hitting them with, like, a wet noodle. Do you have any questions so far?
And what about going AC this game? I felt like it was so important just because of all the physical damage that they have, and also the minus armor from Battlefield and PA. I think that's the right move. I don't think I ended up finishing it because I realized I probably need BKB first. But I got the plate mail and then.
The only thing BKB really does, aside from blocking a lot of damage, is Ricky's smoke cloud.
And that's the thing that's been fucking me up the most this game, I realized.
Yeah.
Once I'm in it, they kite me around and I'm dead.
Yeah. But if you had a blink, you'd be less kited around. Like, you would make the decision to jump on people and be instantly on top of them with a stun. So I think Blink might have been better than the BKB. Plus, you have an Omni Knight, and you're about the best hero to get repelled. Because you can blink in with Repel and Radiance all of them, while stunning, like, the Bounty Hunter or the Ricky, and killing them in a stun. So I think Blink AC might have been the build. But I don't think going AC here is, like, horrible at all. At this point, I think the game's pretty much over.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing was your laning phase. Like, you guys came back, but imagine if that happened while you were ahead. And you got, like, you could have got a blink if you weren't behind, and then you could have went Radiance, and you would have, like, dominated everyone. So I think the main thing this game was the laning phase. And then you just got lucky that you came back, kind of. So, was there another replay you wanted to go over?
Yeah, we can go maybe...
You said the Sven one?
Yeah, the Sven one.
Okay.
I have a feeling I know exactly what went wrong with that one. But... Like, I was doing so well in the beginning, but then taking so many fights that I just felt like I had to be there, and we lost one after another, and then my item progression was like nothing. From after I got my link, I couldn't get another item for like, I don't know, 10-15 minutes, I think.
Yeah, Sven's one of those heroes where you want 2 items before you fight. Usually that's Blink and like Armlet or Mask of Madness. Wraith King's kind of the same.
But like this is the exact opposite, because this was like an amazing laning stage I had. It was just perfect.
Alright, we can run through that quick then. Then focus more on the later. You are taking too long to go out in both of these replays. You should have all your shit sorted out.
I went and stepped away to get some tea or something.
Gotcha. And like a clarity would be good on this guy too, because he's the same thing as Wraith King, where you throw it one stun and then you're done. And you should be getting the bounty rune. It's more important than all you miss is blocking like this distance, which is a good bit, but you can still block and like make it land here pretty often. And that would mean that you get Quelling Blade right away. And a little thing here is, you see both of these creeps getting low at the same time. What would be in your best interest is attacking this down at half. So, this guy slows down, and you aren't... At this rate, you're gonna have a problem where you're gonna have to attack 3 times in a short window. Whereas, if you attack this guy down sooner, then you'd only have 2 guys to worry about instead of 3. So, like this guy would have had more health right now, and you would have been able to go for this guy and then kill this one after. And, yeah. Oh, you get both of them actually. I thought you missed one of them. Oh, it was the range creep. But yeah, that still holds up. It would have given you like a little bit better. It's good. Quick buy. You miss the last hit for it. This is good. Good. Imagine if you had a clarity right now, when the axe shows back up, you'd have full kill potential.
That's the dream.
Yeah. And at this point, when you have this much gold, I start to prefer getting the Vlad or the Morbid Mask. Because like treads, they're gonna be like nice, but they don't have a massive impact in the way that Lifesteal does.
Right. I feel like there I should have turned after Axe was. Can you go back a little bit? After Axe went into the juice, or was headed in that direction, I should have turned on this PL.
Well, at this point, you guys don't have any disables left. And I think he still has Doppelganger. Oh, he doesn't have it skilled. Yeah, if you went on him, he would have taken a lot of damage, but I don't think you would have killed him. Like, what's to stop him from... you have your boots. You might have been able to get a kill on him. I guess I'm just, like, feeling like he has this when he doesn't. Yeah, it's hard to say. Because, like, none of you had any spells. You did outnumber him, though.
But also, in that other, if I positioned myself better and stood behind Axe as opposed to in front of him, probably would have been dead as well, right?
Yeah. If you did the attack move thing. See, like, now all of you are kind of, like, hurting. Not so much the PL, actually. But, like, your guys are at the ends of your regen. So, if you picked up the Morbid Mask now, you got the Salve instead, which is fine when it gets here. But, like, you could take a trade that's stupid and then just heal up when it's under your tower or whatever. And then they're just, like, sitting there and they're out of tangos and stuff. But now you have treads which, like, don't really accomplish too much. Also, right there, if you had a Quelling Blade, it would have paid for itself just under that wave. Because you missed 2 last hits by like 5 damage. Or if you had the Morbid Mask, actually. That gives you like 15 damage, I think, or 20. I don't like you attacking the catapult here at all. Every attack you do on it pushes the wave. And this guy can't really stay here with your supports roaming around if he's right here. Like, the lane's gonna push no matter what at this point, but you're just, like, making it happen faster. And, like, the Skywrath's wrapping around. And the Shadow Shaman, they're like looking to go, but they're like, alright, well the wave's pushing, so our chance is gone. Like, imagine if the creeps died off 3 or 4 seconds later. This guy wraps around, he gets his shackles, and then you guys kill him.
He could have been dead if Shaman shackled from the start.
Yeah, possibly. I think he definitely did it wrong. He went for the shock instead of the shackles, but it's still, like, if you also played it correctly, you would have got the kill.
Right. Yeah. I guess my concern wasn't really getting the kill, it was more just getting as much farm as possible. So I thought if I push the wave, then I can go attack the jungle for 1 or 2 hits, but then Shaman ended up falling, so I just waited for the creep to do it again. And then he ended up dying.
Lol.
He died a couple of times because he pulled me, and I told him that he didn't really need to, because they were pushing the wave anyway, but he insisted, so okay. Do it.
one of the key lessons of Dota is you can't micro your teammates.
But it's nice to have somebody pull, because usually, like, I never have anybody pull for me. This is a close one.
Yeah, imagine if you were on strength threads. Let's see how much health you would have had. Alright, so you switch to int treads. You would have like 18% more health at this point. Which would make you have around, what is that? Like 150 more health at least. And you would have the bonus damage and the bonus lifesteal off of that damage. So you would have probably been at like 250 more health, 300 more health, and you could have stayed. You could have, like, X doesn't have blink. Oh, what the fuck? He's going, okay. He's going 0 boots, blink dagger. Yeah. Why walk when you can blink? I just don't really like not having blink on these heroes, because it's like Armlet, Mask of Madness, and Echo Saber all make you a lot better at right clicking, but they like don't work as well together. Like they all give you a bunch of attack speed, and attack speed doesn't really do too much when combined. Like, Armlet and Mask of Madness is so much fucking attack speed, you don't know what to do with it. So it doesn't scale as well. And then Echo Saber's just kind of like scales negatively with attack speed, because it's literally capped out at something. I think it's 0.6 seconds between the swings or whatever. So the attack speed doesn't do anything for that. But Blink Dagger, like, it helps you get on top of people and use your item, and it helps you farm faster. Because you can, like, kill this, and then blink over here and skip, like, all of this walking. So instead of blinking, like, 1,000, it's a total of, like, 2,000 distance that you don't have to walk. Which sounds like a small thing, but that's every, like, 12 seconds. And here, I was gonna say you should go jungle, but like it's really good to do ancients when you have this up. But you wouldn't have really made it in time unless you skip the wave, which isn't really too worth it. Like, you could have gone and done ancients and got the same amount of farm, and let the shaman get all of the wave. But it's not too big of a deal. This is good. This is better than your Wraith King thing. You would have not jungled there in the Wraith King game.
I feel like for sure I need a Blink Dagger this game, because all of these heroes have so much escape. I mean, I ended up getting it, of course, but I should have done that before I consumed it.
Yeah, it's hard to say because, like, Echo Saber and Blink, I don't know exactly if that solves your health problems when you're jungling or not. Echo Saber definitely solves your mana, Blink definitely solves your your kite ability, or at least helps it a bunch.
Like, it felt like we were so ahead this game, but somehow we're behind that one.
So what I think's happening is you guys are only reacting to them. Like, you guys aren't doing anything aside from reacting to them. So they're dictating the pace, and you're just... You guys are, like, doing things when you get there, but... does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you guys are like, oh, there's a guy there, let's go kill him. Alright, now there's one bottom, let's all TP there. And it's just... you guys are spending a lot of time and effort going for kills just because you can, instead of, like, going for towers or farming camps along the way or whatever. Not too much to say about that one.
This bastard trapped me in a snake. I'm so stuck there for like a minute.
Get fucked. One thing to know with Axe is you don't really care too much about his blade mail. When you have 15% lifesteal and you have a good amount of armor, you're not gonna take a lot of damage from attacking him, because it's based off of it reflects the type back to you, and then it's based off of your reductions. That's why blade mail used to suck on Axe, because it was just a 1-for-1 reflection of the damage that Axe takes. So when he gets, like, what he would do is go in and call a group and blade mail, but like right now he has 55 armor and they wouldn't really take shit for damage because they're getting that reflected onto them, but they changed it so it's based off of your armor. So even though he had a bunch of armor, so did you, and you had lifesteal. And then you're just in jail. This is... Okay, you see him leave. Never mind. This is just a waste of time. You could have done a creep wave or two in this time. Going back to base instead of using the courier.
Yeah, from here it's all downhill, I feel like. It's like a turning point in the game.
One thing is you didn't get a TP, so you're kind of really fucked at this point. Like, if they base race you, you're gonna have a hard time reacting to them. Yeah, this was just kind of like, you didn't have the option of backing.
Yeah, I didn't have a TP, so I just felt like I had to come in.
Yeah, and when you, that's just kind of like, when you think that you're gonna be pushing this way, just pick up a TP. It's like, it's simple, but it's something that you need to get in the habit of thinking of. Whenever you're gonna pass a side chop to go push some shit, it doesn't hurt at all to just pick up a TP, even if it's like in your backpack and it's cooldown for like 40 seconds. That's when you get here and you're like, alright, well, we're pushing, you can, like, switch it with your dust or whatever, and then maybe it's off cooldown when you guys take the tower and you can back then. And it's just a small little change, but it's something to keep in mind. It's not really like groundbreaking advice, but yeah, I think most of this game is just you guys were in reaction the whole time. Um, and I think a lot of this also is that you kind of want your BKB to be your third item.
Yeah.
Because, like, then, like, if you skipped either Mask of Madness or Echo Saber and went for BKB, you'd have had it by now, and the game would have looked a lot differently.
And by the time I got it, like, it wasn't
Yeah.
the same value.
So yeah. I think that's pretty much it for this replay. I think, we should probably call it here, and I'm just gonna count it as a 45 minute one, and then, there's a video that I recently did with another guy,